I think we're live. How are we doing, everybody? Sam here, United People's TV, live on MUFC Daily, on Facebook and YouTube. How are we all doing today? Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. I'll give you a few shout-outs. But today we're talking about early team news for Newcastle. ManUnited.com released an article about injuries to do with Phil Jones, talking about Rojo, Carrick, Pogba, Zlatan, Fellaini, Matic, Valencia. Go through all of that. Marcos Rojo's confirmed his return date. We're going to talk about that. Talking about Anthony Martial. He started for France against Germany last night. Got a wonderful assist. We'll talk about that. And Romelu Lukaku is Belgium's all-time top goal scorer with 31 goals. By his age, that is a fantastic, fantastic return. But let's get straight into it. Early team news for Newcastle. Now, first name on the list is Phil Jones. Man United saying that he was forced to return to Manchester United after going off during England's 0-0 draw with Germany. The suggestion is that Phil Jones will not be fit for Manchester United's game against Newcastle this weekend. If that is the case, let me know in the comments now. Who do you want to partner Eric Bailly in defence? Do you want to see Dede Blind there? Do you want to see Chris Smalling there? Would you like to see Axel Tuanzebe there? Let me know a name in the comments and I'll run through a few of your suggestions. Now, talking about Marcos Rojo, he is targeting a return date of against CSKA Moscow in the Champions League. We play them on December the 5th. That's only 20 days' time. This is what he said. He said, tomorrow I'm going to play with the reserves in a friendly match. He means today now. I feel good and up until now I've not had any problems, but training is not the same as playing in a match. In 3 weeks we have a Champions League game and if all goes well I could play in that. It'll be fucking great to have Rojo back. It really, really would. Last year, prior to his injury, he was one of the outstanding players under Jose Mourinho in terms of the progression he made under Mourinho. He was one of the first names on the sell list as far as I was concerned in the summer, but then he turned himself into a fantastic centre-back. And I'll be delighted to get him back as soon as possible. But first things first, let's run through a few of your comments, see where you guys and girls are watching this from. We've got Nithin joining from India, as always. Good morning to you, mate. Got Ibrahim watching from Virginia, Ralph watching from Singapore, Emmanuel from Nigeria, and Gefe watching from Cameroon. DJ Predator watching from England. Good morning to you all. We've got Rusty Steele watching from Northern Ireland over on Facebook, and Manuel de Batista watching from Malta. Good morning to you all. One name I didn't even suggest as a partner to buy, Victor Lindelof. That's a bit unfair of me because he played so well for Sweden during the international break against Italy. 2 clean sheets, kept Italy at bay for 180 minutes and knocked Italy out of the World Cup. But what do you think in the comments? Let's read through a few of these. David Casper saying Smalling has been a very good backup. Tasniv, he agrees with you, thinks Chris Smalling. Balagi says Blind. We've got David Casper saying Lindelof should be nowhere near the team. That's a bit harsh, I think. We've got Abdul watching from Joburg, and he's saying, Blind for me, Smalling is too inconsistent. But most of you think Smalling on Facebook. How about YouTube as well? We've got True United fans saying time for Lindelof to prove himself, and David Moore agreeing, saying Lindelof has looked very good against Italy. He should be given a chance. Good morning to Rob Toher watching from Dublin, and Eugene Kang watching from Australia. Morning to you both there, mate. I think now would be a fair time to give Victor Lindelof that chance. He got it against Huddersfield, but it wasn't from the start. He wasn't ready. He wasn't told before the game started by Mourinho, said, look, you're starting this game. This is your opportunity. He's had it in the Champions League, but why not? Home against Newcastle. He's banging form after those 2 games against Italy. He'll be full of confidence, full of beans, and that's what he's been lacking. So maybe it's the perfect time to play him. In terms of other team news, we've got Paul Pogba, Michael Carrick and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We're all going to get updates from Jose Mourinho on those. Now, the original suggestion was that Paul Pogba was going to be back in time for Newcastle. Then James Ducker from The Telegraph said that he wouldn't be back in time for Newcastle. So we need to hear from Jose Mourinho himself tomorrow morning. Or is it tomorrow or Friday? I think the press conference is normally on Friday. It was Thursday previously because he had a court date in Spain. I think the press conference will be on Friday. I'd love to see Paul Pogba back, but if he's not going to be risked, maybe it's not going to be back in time. Fellaini obviously came off the bench against Chelsea, so it looks like he's going to be fit to play. Matic, he got arrested for Serbia during the international break, so he'll be prime and ready. And Antonio Valencia was given some rest because Ecuador didn't play. 2 players who have been playing a hell of a lot of football, so it's the right time to give them a rest as soon as possible. But let's move on. Anthony Martial, he was in action last night. He started for France. I can't remember who they played. They played Germany? I think they played Germany. They did play Germany. So he started in the front three with Mbappe and Lacazette from Arsenal. A fantastic front three. Didier Deschamps has not started him very often. Finally, he started Anthony Martial and he delivered in the 32nd minute. He picked the ball up on the penalty spot, dummied past the defender, laid it on for Lacazette, who passed it into an open net. A wonderful piece of skill in a tough and tight area from Anthony Martial. That's what we've been seeing from him all season at Manchester United. And it's good to see him getting in that France team, because going to the World Cup would mean so much to Martial that it will drive him to do better at Manchester United this year, knowing that he can get into that France team. So well done to Deschamps for stopping being an idiot and using Martial, because he has been so fantastic this season. Got Modou Diallo on YouTube saying, can't wait to see Rojo back. We miss him in that back four. Watching from Italy and Torino. Sorry about the Italy not qualifying for the World Cup. I don't really care. Matteo Darmian, he was comforted by Victor Lindelof on the floor. United teammates, one going to the World Cup, one not. That's the way it goes, really. But I'm excited to see Martial starting for France, and I hope that continues now. Moving on to the next piece of news, we've got Romelu Lukaku, the all-time top goal scorer for Belgium. I mean, that is a magnificent achievement considering he's only 24 years old. But the fact that he's top scorer with 31 goals is a bit bad, I suppose. But, you know, fair play to Lukaku. He scored 2 against Mexico in a friendly, and he's also scored 1, I think, against Japan. I'm not sure if he scored more than 1, but I know he scored a header. Some wonderful work, clipped in, couldn't miss. But Lukaku, after having a little bit of a mini goal drought for Manchester United, it's been a few games since his barnstorming start where he scored 7 in 7. He scored a few on the international break, and hopefully that means that when he comes back against Newcastle, he can get straight back to goal-scoring ways for Manchester United. Let's read a few of your comments out. Kevin Govender on YouTube. Good morning, Kevin. Saying Matic needed that rest to big up to his country. Oh, thank you, Serbia. We've got Martial, good assist, and Lukaku, 2 goals in 2 in 2 for his country. You know, we needed that from Lukaku. And I suppose we needed that from Martial to continue the form, because international breaks have not been too friendly to Manchester United. Our form seems to have dipped after international breaks, but Man United weren't exactly informed going into this international break. So fingers crossed, we're going to come back from this one and hit the ground running this time. We've got to, because we've been dropping points in the league, 8 points behind Manchester City. We play them in a few weeks. If that's already 10 plus points by the time we play them, even if we beat them, we're still going to be 7 points behind. So we can't let that happen. Let's keep going down in the comments here. We're saying, why isn't Mata playing, says Osama on Facebook. Mata, he was left out of the squad completely against Chelsea. That's because Jose Mourinho preferred to have Fellaini as his backup to Henrik Mkhitaryan. He came off the bench and made a difference straight away. So you can't argue that that wasn't the right thing to do. Why hasn't he been playing that much this season? I don't know. But with Mkhitaryan bang out of form, he did score for Armenia in the international break, but he hasn't been scoring or getting assists for Manchester United. Maybe we will see Mata start against Newcastle. Got David Casper here saying, starting Lindelof will lead to careless mistakes. Let me know in the comments now, type yes or type no. Do you think now is the time for Victor Lindelof to start for Manchester United? Do you think now is the time for us to put our faith in Lindelof, that he can deliver on the 30 million price tag that brought him to United from Benfica? Let's head to YouTube for some more comments here. We've got Rana saying, I want Smalling. We've got Nathan George saying, Lindelof was a rock in defence for Sweden. And he was, that whole Swedish defence, to keep Italy out for 2 full games in a World Cup qualifier. Outstanding defence. And it probably was backs to the walls against Italy in that second game, especially the last 20 minutes. Italy were knocking on the door. They just couldn't knock it down. And Lindelof did play a big part of that. We've got Alex Angel. He thinks, yes, now is a time for Victor Lindelof to get a chance. And Abu Zar, he agrees as well. Abdul Jardien, he says yes. Mank Sakay says yes. Manuel de Batista says yes. We've got Osama Raymond saying Lindelof, Bailly and Jones at back 3 should work. But I think Jones is going to be injured for that game, mate, so I don't think he'll be ready. We've got Emmanuel on YouTube saying yes. Ibrahim saying no. Mahmoudou saying yes. Edward saying yes. Most of you saying yes, but there are still quite a few of you saying no as well. I'd say you're looking 70-30 yes to no ratio. I don't know. There has to come a point where we properly put our faith in Victor Lindelof and he either proves himself or doesn't prove himself. Why can't that be now after he's got 2 clean sheets for Sweden in the international break? Seems like the right time to do it, but maybe I'm being a little bit too risky and Jose Mourinho won't take that risk. I don't know. I think he will personally. That is it for today's MUFC Daily. Thank you all for joining in. If you are new, hit that subscribe button on YouTube and hit that like button on the Facebook page and share the video so it goes to other Reds. Until tomorrow morning, take it easy.